Greetings, this is Gilles Mancien. I wanted to say hello, to pull out a few cards, then to discuss a little bit the idea of art and photography. So what is the highest wisdom for us today? I'm going to pull out 4 cards. The highest wisdom for us is the woman of wand. It is the sensor. It is he who she trusts her intuition. She knows, she feels, she has an understanding of what's going on behind the scene. And so it is all those hands that it is the woman of wand, it is the sensor, it is the trust of the mystical, the inner part of ourselves, that this heightened intuition, to trust that today. What we must understand is reflection, it is called. So it means that when it is winter, it's no use to go plant seeds or try to move the ground, or we have to wait for the flow of time to bring about what we have to be in the timing. Sometimes we want things to happen really quickly, but things happen only in divine timing. When something is ready, it is the time, and when it is time of winter, it's good to ski, go ski or whatever, but it is not the time so it shows we have to be a little bit patient when we feel it is not really when it is not the time for something, so we can move within the sense and start enjoying the energy of the things even before they happen. We don't have to wait for things to happen to start to enjoy it. The more we are able to enjoy what we are seeking before it happens, the faster it will happen, and also the less in a hurry we are for it to see it happen, the faster it will manifest as well. So patience is a definite part of the process. What we need to do is confusion. It is about going away from confusion. It is about letting go of those labyrinths of the mind in order to move into a state of acceptation when we can receive an information that will create the proper understanding in relation to the things we seek. And so it is by synergy. Synergy is the key. It's about allowing to find the life is intelligible, but sometimes we are not approaching it from an angle that will allow us to understand the total situation. So it is often better to surround it, to allow your soul, your spirit, your heart to reveal to you, to be patient enough to be able to receive when you're ready to receive the information. And the general message for us today is the Hierophant. It is the master of knowledge. It is finding the right guidance, finding the right master. For me, life is my master, life is my guide. So only God, and God is within all life. God is present, although we do not see it. God is there, and so it's about understanding, to find the right wisdom, to find the wisdom within yourself, but also to find assistance in it can be in the physical world, finding people that can help you, assist you, or it can be in the spiritual world through telepathic thought communication and transmission. So it is a time for wisdom. So do not allow the temporary confusion to take you away from the possibility of moving into a state of joy and understanding and knowledge and completion. For it is a great there is a great deal of completion that is happening this year. I want to talk briefly about photography and art. For photography, now we have. Everybody's got nice cameras, so there are billions of photographers, and everybody can make beautiful photos. So it is nice, but it is mostly a technology. It is not an art form. For it to be art, it has to be produced in such a way that it describes an artistic process. And so, in many sense. Photography has been accepted as a real form of art. Every museum, every gallery, I love photography. It was is really every year every gallery makes a major photo show. Personally, when I started studying art, I studied interior design and publicity in France, and then I moved to the States. In Santa Fe, I studied photography. Then I moved to LA, and my stepfather was an artist and university professor in art, who told me that even if I wanted to do publicity or design or photography, it was better to study fine art, and then from there I would be able to select whatever creative division I would do. And then after 1 year in Artist Parson in LA, it wasn't really working for me, so I opened a major gallery in Santa Monica. I had the opportunity. I was 19 years old, so I kept it open 2.5 years. And so, but photography is, in many sense, if I was a collector or if I was collecting or even dealing art at this point, I would definitely find comfortable to acquire Cartier-Bresson, to acquire L'Artigue, Man Ray, although those are very expensive now, but those are images we know they've been around long enough to every time we see it, we still have this mystical dream that represented those times. It's a bit nostalgic. Photography is a bit nostalgic, but in many sense, the most famous photographer of all time, the most expensive photographer of all time is Andy Warhol. It is the pope of pop art. It is the king of pop art. He created all this iconography. It's very symbolic. It is the crowning of the age of Pisces, the glamour and pageantry of this celebrity, this artificiality. And so he had a great deal of influence in the world. He introduced the idea of industrialization of art, mass production. Most people who do collect Warhol will seek to buy the painting from the 60s because he painted the painting himself. After that, it's like mass production. So you may want to spend $100 million on an offset print of on a canvas, but a lot of collectors are more. Although Americans are very intelligent, is that they invest a lot in American artists. And they want to make sure the American artists, there's not that many, are just as expensive as European artists, let's say. But in many sense, if I was to invest $50 to $100 million in an Andy Warhol, I would definitely look instead to buy a Picasso or maybe 10 Magritte. Magritte is another person that comes from the world of publicity, but his work is, for me, is more mystifying. Or Max Ernst is also another great artist. Could buy 40 Max Ernst for the price of one Warhol. Well, it doesn't diminish the value of Warhol, but I'm saying Max Ernst is much more intellectual, and so it will take time for him to climb up to the ladder of prices. Salvador Dali is another artist I feel is very, very underappreciated because he was completely mad, but his work reveals such a deep, profound understanding of the astral plane, the conflict between the demon within ourselves and the God within ourselves. There's all kinds of things within Dali that I think eventually, because we can actually buy 10 or 20 Dali or 40 Dalis for the price of one Picasso. So certain things, certain artists, I think are still a good bargain, so to speak. For me personally, I like Robert Indiana, as in the pop art movement. Robert Indiana, those love signs. If I had a sculpture garden, it would be a must. I couldn't do without. But in many sense, I would, if I would buy Andy Warhol, I would buy the prints. I think the prints would be enough to satisfy my desire. My stepfather had some prints, and he also had an original. Warhols are kind of enjoyable to live with, and so in many sense, we need in photography. I wouldn't mind. I love photography, and somehow to take on the. When I move into photography, I've done one exhibition at the Barclays Bank here. I'm glad I didn't sell any because they were not ready. It was just like a single photos that was presented. But I like there needs to be everything is in the presentation, and so I wasn't really ready to show photos, but I intend to go back to it very soon. I'm very excited about that. Going back to adding this new medium into my art, and so yeah, I just wanted to speak a bit about that because photography is like is a very easy medium to begin to make, but in many sense we have if we want to make it artistic, it's good to be very focal, to be extremely to have a strong focal, very narrow field of expression. The more narrow we are, the more we are able to concentrate the attention on something, although there is no law in art. For art is something that is completely open. In Warhol, I find there is this compulsive and pulsive Piscean glamour ideas, and so it is very, very important. Most of the art world has been influenced by Andy Warhol, this mass production, and also Marcel Duchamp, who said that from the Dadaist movement, everything is art. For Marcel Duchamp was, but after Marcel Duchamp, nobody else should be able to say that. It's not because I say that this is art that I put this on my head, that take a photo, and I'm becoming a great artist. It is just because. If I was Marcel Duchamp, it would be valid. It was a very funny anecdote. Duchamp was the ready-made, and one day he had one of these pieces was a broom put in a corner in a 90-degree angle. There was a broom standing there. There was a piece of art. And so he sent the show to New York, and they lost the broom, catastrophe. They called Marcel Duchamp. What do we do? What do we do? He said, well, just go to the store, buy another broom. It's not the broom, it's the idea. Marcel Duchamp is a great genius for what he brought, but in many sense we could not. It's like once the idea has been exploited, it's like we can serve it in different form or whatever, but it remains, it lacks in originality. So what was so important about Duchamp is this original thought. Same thing, another artist that's not very well known that I think is extremely important is an artist named Yves Klein. He started the first monochrome, the three colors, was blue, pink, and gold, the three colors of the sacred flame of the soul. Although this wasn't presented as a spiritual art, he was quite spiritual as a person. But I'm looking forward. I feel that very soon I'm going to be able to return to the art scene, to reopen a new space where I'm going to be able to showcase art, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'll have my painting. I had galleries in the past, but I never had my work to present when I had those spaces, and so there'll be a new experience for me. I'm going to finish by a little song by a great artist named David Bowie. He wrote a song about Andy Warhol, and so I sang it today. It goes like this. Like to take a cement fix, be a standing cinema. The rest, my friends, are just for show. See them as they really are. Put the people in my brain, 2 new pens to have a go. Like to be a gallery, put you all inside my show. Andy Warhol looks a scream, hang him on my wall. Andy Warhol silver screen can't tell them apart at all. Andy walking, Andy tired, Andy take a little snooze. Time up when he's fast asleep, send him on a pleasant cruise. When he wakes up on the sea, be sure he thinks of me and you. He thinks about paint and he thinks about glue. What a jolly bore anything to do. Andy Warhol silver screen can't tell them apart at all. Andy Warhol looks a scream, hang him on my wall. I hope you find this video interesting. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.